Made out of wood?
These are, they can be made out of wood. If you are using them on boards that are wood, they will be made out of wood. This is veneer with what's called a fleece back. So that back is like spun fiber, some kind of like plastic fiber, or cotton fiber to keep it together. Okay? But you can also get PVC edge banding.
You said what?
PVC. This is plastic.
Plastic.
Oh, wow.
It's plastic with a picture of wood on it.
Picture of
How's the
wood.
picture made?
Photographic print, yeah, printed photographic
What
process.
type of on plastic?
Yeah. So that's fake.
It's fake.
This is real. That was real. The white one's PVC.
Are these usually cheaper than your? Yeah.
They can be. There are some expensive ones. No, let me see if that's funny.
Can't imagine this being expensive.
This looks like something I'm putting on like a fucking fridge.
Yeah.
It's like those, you know those museums you put on like some fake shit on those animals, those fake trees.
What?
Yeah, some fake trees and shit.
He said
what?
So if veneer is used for edging with wood, it made of real wood.
Yeah, well, that's also veneer. All that stuff up there.
So there's a whole new class of man-made boards that are higher end man-made boards.
Question for you.
Hold on, let me go grab a sample pack.
These are thick.
Hold that thought.
plastic. This is like plastic.
So what is it then, Kawhi?
Swear there's some shit in
This is a book.
Some shit.
It's a book. What I said, bro?
there.
You see the cover, bro? The back? That's book all over.
Off of the
They're just like, oh, there's some shit in here.
Nah, this ain't no book, bro.
It's a wood book.
keep going.
Wood book.
Wood book.
You want to check it out?
Plyboard. Plyboard.
And the finish end.
Bible.
Our normal materials that we usually see are going to be one of three materials. You're going to have plywood, which is we've been using quite a bit. So plywood is the closest to solid wood. It's layers or plies of wood cut and then reassembled at each layer is 90 degrees to the one forward.
So
There are always an odd number of layers because you need to have the two faces running the same direction. If you have one face running this way and one face running this way, the board will warp. So you got to finish up with the two faces running the same way. So if you think about it, boom, 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 and then there's one.
Always odd, you said, right?
Always odd. There are some boards that have even numbers, but they're very few and far between for other reasons, other purposes. So it could be 5. This is actually called 7-ply because there's 5 and then there are 2 little face mirrors. There's 5, there's 9, there's 3, there's all different combinations depending on how thick it is. Typically 3/4 inches is 5 or 7. 1/2 inch is going to be 3 or 5, 1/4 inch is going to be 3. And it looks like, it actually looks like one, because it's one thick one with two thin ones, super thin ones. So the thinnest ones on the outside are the face veneers. The one in the middle is known as the core, and then the one before the face veneer is called the crossbanding. These in the middle could have knots and all kinds of crap in them. The ones that are the crossbanding should be relatively clear. No knots. If they have knots in them, that will telegraph to the surface. You will look at it like this and you will see the impression of the knot on the veneer. The other thing that they can have, depending on the grading of it, is they can have a certain amount of voids in them. A void is a hole, and that hole might go all the way through the board. And what that would be is where they put two pieces of veneer together and they didn't quite touch them together, they just left a little space. And that's acceptable on certain grades. It's not acceptable in marine plywood because marine plywood is structural. It's acceptable in architectural grade plywoods that we use because they're not really structural. They're meant to hold themselves up, but they're not meant to hold other things up, like weight. You're not going to be building with them.
So are you saying it's fine to leave a void as is? You don't have to fill it
You
up
don't
with
have
like
to
anything?
fill it up or anything if it's inside the board. In this stuff, this, I don't care what's on the surface, the inside is going to be much cheaper than what's on the surface. If it's a higher quality plywood, it might be a hardwood inside, it might be poplar. It might have two poplar cores on the outside and crappy cores in the middle. Poplar crossbandings and crappy cores in the middle. But it's going to be something that's less quality than this.
So, this is face banding, core,
Face, crossbanding,
crossbanding.
core is the middle one. But really the core could be any of those that are inside there,
In sandwiched in between the two crossbanding.
Yeah, the crossbanding should be the highest quality, the core, and the face is higher quality.
So what's the in between one?
They're just plies.
Okay.
Okay?
As you go outward, the quality gets more.
No, anything in the center, any of the plies in the center can be crappier. It's just the last ply, the crossbanding that has to be nice. Okay? The difference with this is that what you see on the outside is exactly what's in the center. It's the same stuff all the way through. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make a high quality big panel, sort of like to replace solid wood. Right? It's as durable as solid wood. If it's got the right glues, it won't come apart. And it's heavier and stronger than this concern. It first came to, it was either known as multiply or Europly, because it first came to the United States from Europe. It was, the first stuff that came was birch from the Baltics, and it was known as Baltic birch. Or Finnish birch, because some of it came from Finland. It came in odd sizes. It still does come in odd sizes. 5 feet by 5 feet. It's just what they make. At some point, North American producers wanted to make a ply that was comparable. So they made a 4x8 sheet of multiply, and they called it apple ply. And when it first was like, is it made out of apple wood? No, it's made out of maple, but it's as American as like apples, apples,
We are so cool.
Yep, so it's called apple pie. And it's the same stuff basically, except it's made out of maple and it's 4x8.
So is veneers the terminology used for wood
Very,
edge banding?
no, veneer is a terminology that's usually used for anything that's a thin covering,
Okay.
right? So like you can have your teeth veneered, right? What are they doing? They're putting a thin covering on your tooth, right? So it's the same idea. But veneering for us is thin sheets of wood usually.
Okay.
But you could have like plastic laminate, which is either called a laminate or a plastic veneer.
Okay.
Right?
It's just thinner than.
It's just cut so thin that it's really not structural or usable on its own. It's got to be bonded to something else.